March the 25th is a very special date in the calendar of many, many, many people the world over, and including myself, and including my very special guest on this conversation today. I am truly elated, thrilled, excited, and thankful to be able to talk to a lady who, for many of the people who have seen Aretha Franklin on stage over decades or have looked at the credits on recordings will know, particularly in the live performances, will know when Aretha said, Cousin Brenda. They didn't wonder who that was. And so I am truly, truly delighted to welcome to this special conversation for our Soul Talking series at soulmusic.com. Cousin Brenda, Brenda Corbett, thank you so much for taking some time today to speak with me. And here we are with part two. So you really have been a part of Aretha's history, not just as on the road performing, but obviously as on many of these classic recordings. So I want to just ask you a
Yeah.
few more things. So Jude, at that time, of course, I remember vividly because back then Aretha did go out overseas, and I remember when she came to England. I don't know if you were with her in 1970. She came here when she did "Don't Play That Song." Were you here then?
You
Were you
know
singing
what? We I have been to England, but I'm not really sure about that.
that time period? I tell you when I think you were
Right.
here. Yeah, I think the time that I recall that you would have come here possibly would have been because she did do some shows here in Britain at different times. Would have been
Exactly. Yeah.
probably I know 19. I think it was 1980 or 81. She came and performed for
Mhm.
the Royal Command performance for the Queen of England.
Now, I know I wasn't at that one.
Okay,
I
you
can
would have
tell you
remembered
that.
that.
No, I
Yeah, yeah,
wasn't.
yeah,
Cuz
yeah.
I'd have I would have.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
And so, but at different times you did come to Europe and do different things with Aretha for
Right.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure
So
did.
let yeah. So let's move on quickly to um, Aretha's finishing her Atlantic contract. She goes to Arista, and how was that different for you? Did it make much difference in terms of her, doing work in the studio with you, or in terms of performing? I mean, was there any time when you? Let me rephrase it. Was there a time period when you were not on the road with her during that time?
Oh, yeah, there was a bunch.
Okay, okay,
She would go through her Aretha, and I'm not gonna use y'all this time,
all
which
right,
was okay with me.
yeah,
It didn't bother, but I think the one that I remember the most was with Luther Vandross,
hmm. Yes.
uh, and oh, uh, what was the name of the song that he did?
Jump to it, jump
He
to it.
produced the album. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He
yeah, yeah.
produced the whole album on her,
Yeah,
and
yes.
it was
Jump to
done
it.
in New
Yes,
York.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, yeah. And
and I
actually,
really remember that one.
mm, and that was a really important period of her career too. So the jump to it, and then the album Get It Right, and then she was with an Arista for many years and had many hits,
Yeah,
including well, she had different. At times she had big hits and then some not so big hits, but of course the ones that we remember. After Jump to It, we remember, I Knew You Were Waiting for Me and the Who's Zooming Who sessions
right.
and so forth. So were you doing road? You were on the road with her at that time period during that time period.
Yeah, yeah, we sure was. Yeah,
Mm. You
yep.
know, and when I look back, Brenda, I look at different Aretha phases in terms of her, what she was wearing and so forth. And I remember, at that time period, she
Hmm.
kind of got kind of punky with the red with the what was that right kind of like pink hair and the of course the
Oh
Cadillac,
yeah,
yeah, and all
yeah,
that whole yes, yes, yes. Was
yeah.
that
She
was
would
that
come up
fun?
with some styles, huh?
Yes, that's true.
She
That is
came up with
true.
some. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And now let me ask you, what was it like just I mean, you know, I know other background singers who would have been on the road with Aretha probably had more of a formal relationship with her because they were more employees rather than, you know, people with, you know, members of her family. So, did you get to spend much
Mhm.
time with her just as her cousin?
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. Because she lived in Detroit, and
Right?
I would go to her house quite often, and we
Yes.
would go shopping, or go to dinner, or go see a show. So yeah, we spent a lot of time together because that's what she really liked. She liked being with her
Mm,
family and
mm, mm.
doing different things with us. Christmas shopping. She really loved
Yes,
that.
yes, yes,
And
yes.
her Christmas parties.
Oh,
So yeah,
yes.
we did spend a lot of time together.
Mm. And when you were on the road, did you spend? I mean, when you were not performing, did you hang out much on the road together as well? I mean, obviously, when people are on the road, they're doing focus on their shows and so on. So I'm assuming that you didn't do a lot of hanging out on the road because you would
Not
be
really.
working. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, we didn't do. At least I didn't do a whole lot of hanging out. I tried to get my rest.
Yes,
I
yes,
wanted
yes,
to be
yes,
ready.
yes, yes, yes. You want to be on point.
Oh yes, definitely. Because I did not want to get fined. Because she would fine us
Really?
if we missed anything or missed a note. She would fine us. So I wasn't
Are you
giving her
serious?
too much of an
I, I
opportunity. Oh yeah,
I didn't know
oh
that.
yeah, she fined us.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Was that from the
yeah.
very beginning or just, I mean, only later in her career?
When did she start that? I can't remember when she started finding us if we messed up, especially on stage.
Really?
But we rehearsed quite a bit where we
Yes.
wouldn't, uh, have that taking away the money. But yeah, she would find us if we messed up or whatever. Yeah.
Really? Wow, wow. But so did you do a lot of rehearsing, you know, as a vocal group without her because I imagine she probably later in life didn't do a lot of sound checks. She probably just, you
Yeah.
know, so did you do your own rehearsals and own sound checks
Oh
yourselves?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
had to, because we wanted it to be solid, so we had to
Yeah.
do that. Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. And what would you say? Now I know at some point in the story of Aretha on the road, and with you on the road with her, you started doing the amazing "Ain't No Way." Doing that particular part of "Ain't No Way," the most people would
Yeah,
be
that was another challenge.
very scared to do. So, do you remember when
Yeah.
she first asked you to do that?
Ooh, I really can't remember the first time she asked me, but I really didn't think that I could do it.
Really?
And
No.
oh yeah, I'm serious. And she said, "Oh, you can do it. You can do it." I don't know about that. You can do it. So come on, let's go.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, yeah. I really didn't think that I could, but he proved me wrong.
Yes, yes, yes. And many people who, you know, did not get to hear Ain't No Way when it was first recorded, you know, because they were maybe too young or a
Hmm.
different audience, you know, they got to hear Ain't No
Yeah,
Way for the first time when you sang it, when you sang that
yeah,
particular note, that particular, I think it's called an obligato. I get my
right.
phrasing, yes. And that takes something, Brenda. That does. I don't. You know, it reminds me of what you said earlier about when you were, you know, in the choir, and the choir director said, "No, you can sing first soprano because
Oh
that's not.
yeah,
I don't even know if
yeah,
that's first soprano. I don't even know what range of note that is. What when
yeah.
is that a coloratura? What is that? There ain't no way. Is that a first soprano note? What is
What do
it?
they call it? Obligato.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Wow, wow, wow,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah,
So, you know,
yeah.
just to kind of bring us back up to recent times. in the last, would say decade of working with Aretha, do you have any particular, apart from you mentioned Barack Obama and the inauguration and also the Natural Woman concert? I mean, when she did when
Oh
she
yeah.
yeah, performed for Carole King Kennedy Honors. Is there any other
Oh my God,
particular?
yeah. At the
Yeah.
Kennedy Center. Oh yes.
Yes. Yes.
That was fabulous.
Yes. Yes.
And just looking at the audience while she was singing was it was amazing. And the looks on the people's faces,
Mm.
and some had tears in their eyes, and then to look
Mm-hmm.
up and look at Carol King, she was
Mm-hmm.
standing up with her hands over her
Mm-hmm.
mouth.
Mm-hmm.
It was just amazing. And Barack Obama, oh my God, he was
Yeah.
such a nice guy.
Yes.
He welcomed us at the White House. I got a picture of
Mm.
him with us with the group.
Mm.
He took a picture and then they sent it to us. So
Mm.
it's sitting on my table.
Yes, 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 yes. I mean, so many memories. I mean, so many memories, Brenda. I mean, I can't, I mean, that's a lot. It's been quite
Yeah,
an interesting life for you, hasn't it, up to now? And it's
it
still
has been.
continuing. It's still continuing. Yes.
It
I
really
mean,
has.
I was going to ask you, were there any times when you were on stage and you were performing and you were, doing background vocals, and sometimes there were songs obviously where you weren't doing background vocals, maybe when Aretha was in the
Hmm.
piano. Did you ever just look over there and go, "Wow, that's my cousin"?
Exactly. And sometimes I would look at and get so into her singing, I would almost forget to come in on my part.
Really, really,
Oh my
really.
God, yes. I had to say, okay, Brenda, you up here singing background, you can't focus in on everything that she's doing. Yeah,
Hmm.
I loved Aretha's voice. I loved her singing because she
Hmm.
never sung everything the same way.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
always something different in it. It was
yes.
always a different tone or different phrasing. Oh, she was amazing.
You know
I
what?
had to
But
tell her
yeah.
one time.
What did you? What happened with it? Tell me what I
Yeah,
want to hear what she said because I really do want to hear what she said
yeah.
when you said,
I had to
yeah.
tell I told her um when we did the Kennedy Center and we were back, backstage after everything was over with. I told her, I said, "Girl, I got to tell you, you sung your booty off." And she said, "For real?" I said, "Yes, you were amazing. Well, you always are, but it was something special about her singing Natural Woman.
Mm,
It was
mm,
it was amazing, yes."
mm. Do you think she was really aware of the degree to which she was like unlike anyone else in terms of music? Do you think she was aware of that, or she just? I always got the impression, to be honest with you, Brenda, I got the impression in talking to Aretha sometimes that it was just like, well, this is just what I do. It wasn't like she wasn't taking it for granted, but it wasn't like this is just what I do. This is what I do. Kind of like,
Yeah,
what I mean. I think when someone is so much of a master of what they do. They don't think it. They know that it's impacting people, but I don't think
yeah,
they necessarily say, "Yeah, yeah." It's kind of like, "Yeah, that's kind of what I do." I mean, is that how
yeah.
she came across to you?
Yeah, yeah. I would think so. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
yeah. Do you think she was ever aware of the degree to which she was impacting people on a day-to-day
Sometimes
basis?
not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really.
sometimes not. Sometimes she did. Sometimes, it went back and forth. I guess it depends
Mm,
on what she was doing at the time or what was
mm,
going
mm,
on
mm.
in her life at the time. You know.
True, true. Yeah, yeah, I get it. Yeah. Well, a couple more questions. So, one question that people have often asked is about the famous purse on the stage. Now, I know what the person on the stage was about, and some other people may have figured that out, but can you tell us, can you shed any light on the person on the stage?
That person on the stage was the payroll.
I know, but I wanted to hear you say it.
Yeah, it was the payroll. It was cute and
It
funny.
was, yes,
But that's how she took care of her business.
yeah. I'm going to share with you a funny story about that. The first time she came back out to LA and she performed at the
Uh-huh.
Greek Theater, she hadn't been there for years and years and years. And I remember she took the bus, I don't know, I wasn't on the bus, but I know she took the bus and did all these dates in California, but starting with the Greek Theater. And she, I hadn't seen her in a long time. Well, I hadn't seen her perform for a while because I lived in LA. And anyway, so I go backstage. I had my backstage pass, and I go to the dressing room, and I knocked on the door, and she opened the door, and she had all this money in her hand, and I said, "Is that for me?" And she said, "No, no, David, it's not. Come back in a few minutes." And
Yes.
but we had really an incredible relationship and conversations, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah, she
remember,
really liked you a lot. Yeah,
yeah.
she liked you a lot.
Well,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
a lot of it had to do with the fact that she knew that our knowing each other went back so many, many years, from 1966. I don't know if she necessarily
Mhm.
remembered that conversation or the letters or anything, but she knew I had been, like, so to speak, in her corner before
Yeah.
everybody else jumped on the bandwagon.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
got
also,
you. I
and
got you.
I had a lot of respect for her as a person, and I would never ask her
Mhm.
about anything personal, unless she wanted to
Okay.
tell me. I did never. If I did interviews with her, I just kept to the music, and we talk about stuff that she wanted to
Mhm.
talk about. But I never, it was not like being sensationalist. And I respected who she was as a human being, and
Yeah.
that's probably the thing, the difference. But I have to tell you that. I always had a challenge of when I would see her in performance, and I thought, well, when I remember she invited me to one of the Christmas parties, I thought, well, what can I give
Mhm.
Aretha Franklin? What can you get? What can I give her as a gift? I mean, So I would make it a point to always bring her a CD of
Uh-huh.
music that she grew up with, not her music. So I remember one time I
Uh-huh.
brought her a CD of Johnny Ace, from
Oh,
which she
wow.
remembered, with all these songs, "Pledging My Love,"
Uh-huh.
those songs. And then I brought her a CD of Big Maybelle, and she said, "Oh
Mhm.
yeah, Big Maybelle." And then I brought her a CD of the doo-wop groups of the '50s, and she
Mhm.
loved it. Can you hold on just one second, Brenda? Just one second.
Mhm.
Just one second, thanks. The recording again. Yeah, so I would bring her, like, CD of all the doo-wop groups, the Moonglows, and all that from the
Okay.
'50s, and she loved it because it took her back to her own childhood, and listening to music in her household. So, I always figured that's the best. What else can you give the Queen of Soul except music that she would, that would remind her of her own roots in music, so to speak.
Right. Right.
So yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, I know she loved that.
She did.
I
She
know
said,
she loved it.
I remember when I gave her a CD of Big Maybelle. She said, I wonder what Miss Girl's doing now." I mean, in other words, on the record, because Maybelle was not with us anymore. But yeah, but she was
Uh-huh. Yeah.
yeah. And the last thing I want to say, and this is related to this with you, I mean, one of the things that people can say about Aretha, is that um, she didn't. She, let me say it a different way. She could take any song and reinterpret it, and that meant she had a very broad range of repertoire,
Oh yeah.
and that was
Oh,
unlike anybody I ever knew.
yes.
I
Yes,
mean,
she definitely did that.
yes. I remember when she was out in California, she did a Bobby Darin song. Was it "Over the Sea"? Was it was called "Beyond the Sea"? I think it was called. And
Uh-huh. Oh
And
yeah.
then yes, and she would just do these things. I remember one time seeing her at the Hollywood Bowl. She did a song from a musical. Was it Sunset Boulevard? I mean, she just could do. I mean, was there anything she couldn't do musically?
Didn't seem like it to me. Anytime she could do a opera,
Oh,
she
oh,
can do
oh.
anything.
Well, we have to.
Nessa
We have to.
Dormer.
Well, I've got to ask you about that, and then we'll just kind of wind down. But I got to ask you, Brenda. I assume you were there,
No,
finessing. You weren't, okay. Finessing Dormer,
no, I wasn't there. Uh-uh.
right? But when she did it on shows that you were performing on, which she did occasionally,
It was amazing. Yeah,
I
it was
mean,
amazing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I get it. I get it. Do you have one? I'm going to ask you a very unfair question. Do you have one Aretha Franklin recording that you sang on or did backgrounds on over and over again that it remains your absolute favorite? And that's an unfair question, but hey.
I have a few, but to me, until you come back to me,
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
that
because
is one of my utmost favorite.
mm, 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 mm. Yes, yes, yes. So last question for now. We may have to do another follow up some other time, but for now,
Okay.
yes, for now. Let me just ask you: do you have any funny stories that you can share with us that are funny? Of course, we don't want anything that's too, naughty, but any funny stories you can tell us about Aretha being with you, hanging out
Uh,
with her, and just anything that made you smile or laugh, or made her laugh and smile.
uh, riding on the bus with her. I rode on the bus with her, and you probably know, especially in the wintertime, first of the
Uh
springtime,
huh. Uh huh. Uh huh.
he needed heat.
Yes.
So we were riding on the bus, and she had the bus driver to turn the temperature up, and we were sitting there. We were sweating, so she wanted to stop at the um uh Kmart. Was it Kmart's or Walmart?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody went in there and bought portable fans because we were so hot. We sat on the bus with the fans in our
Oh
face.
man.
Yeah,
Wow.
and I think about that a lot, especially in the wintertime. I think
Yes,
about that. But
yes,
yeah,
yes, yes, yes.
yeah, I mean, we bust up into Walmart to get those fans. It was too funny. It was so funny.
Yes.
But that
Yeah.
was her.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. The thing I'm always reminded of that I guess a lot of people didn't get an opportunity to see or experience, and in particular, from the perspective of me having been a journalist and so on, is I really did get to see the Aretha's sense of humor. I got to see, I had the opportunity to just really have conversations with her that used to make me laugh so much. I mean, when I lived in LA, Brenda, she would call me up sometimes. She said, "Hi, David." I said, because I knew who it was. I said, "Hi, Aretha, how you doing?" "Hey, David, what's the gossip?" I'm like, "Gossip?" And I'm trying to get like, "I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know no gossip. What do you mean, gossip?" And she said, "Now, come on,
Yeah,
I know
she
you
would
know
do
gossip."
that.
I said, "I know you know gossip." She said, "I know you do." I said, "Well, anything in particular you want?" And for me
Hmm.
to have that kind of relationship with her was phenomenal for me, given what I remember going
Yeah,
back to all those years when I used to listen to those Columbia albums, above the fish and chip shop where we lived. To think that we had that kind of relationship where she felt she could just call and chit chat with me. I mean, it was really,
yeah,
really great. And I'm so, you know, to have someone who's been in my life like that for all those decades is truly a blessing.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yes.
So, Brenda, are you currently doing other things? Do you want to share anything else with people about what you're up to right now?
Well, I am just doing, things to represent her. I
Good. Good.
did a taping for PBS to celebrate her birthday because she would have been turning 80 years old, and they're going to play it
Wow. That's right. That's right.
on
Yes.
her birthday on the 25th, which is Friday.
Yes. Yes.
Um, I, you know, did the movie,
Mm-hmm.
represented
Mm-hmm.
the movie, and whenever someone asked me to do something pertaining to her, I
Mm.
that's what I do.
All right, Brenda. Well, that's what you call being not just a friend, being a family member and being someone who really, I don't know what the right word is. I mean, just really, what a joy to have someone in your life who's been there, you could say got your back, through all
Yeah,
the
yeah,
decades.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
She
yeah.
she was not only my cousin, she was my sister because we grew up in the same house,
Yes.
and she was my friend.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. Well, thank you
Yeah,
so
yeah.
much, Brenda. I mean, this has been very, very special for me. Very special. And I
Well, thank you.
truly appreciate it. And, I have to say, of all the things you shared with me, the one that's made me laugh the most is about the being fined. I didn't know that. Oh, my. Well, I guess that meant you had
Yes.
to be, I guess that mean you had to be on your P's and Q's, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Or she'd take the money because she was the one to issue it out, so she would take it off the top. Okay.
Oh, Brenda, Brenda, Brenda. All right. Well,
Yeah.
as Aretha would say, cousin Brenda, uh,
Right.
thank you so much. Thank you for your time today. And thank you for, really celebrating someone who has made such an incredible impact on the world.
Yes. Thank you so much, and I appreciate you, and thank you for asking me to do this with you. Okay.
Yes, absolutely, Brenda. Well, many blessings to you. Take care. And one
Yeah,
thing I
and
will
you
ask you to
too.
do, if you could send me a photograph, any photograph that you want to put with this video, just one photograph of you with Aretha or
Oh,
with
you must have
whoever.
been reading my mind.
Well,
Because I was just getting ready to tell
I have
you.
been, I have been known to do that, but not with
I
that, but
will
not
do
with,
that.
but I don't read everybody's mind because that would be problematic.
I'll be
Okay.
glad to do it.
Thank you, Brenda. Take good care of yourself.
Thank
Many
you.
blessings,
And
and
you
we'll
too.
stay in
Yeah.
touch.
Okay. I love that.
Thank you. Take care now.